Thank you so much for joining us. Um, my name is Stella Kosiboje, and I work with Nigerian Women in Public Relations as the programs and membership executive. To all the students that are here, you're welcome. And we're really, really glad to have you here. And I will tell you that every minute you spend here today will be worth your time. So have an open mind. And if you have any questions, please write it down and ask your question. If you want to speak, you can raise up your hand and ask. If you want to type, you can use the chat box to drop in your questions. And we'll just get right started. Thank you. I'll be calling on my colleague Ayomide Oyetunde to tell us more about Nigerian women in public relations. Ayomide, you have the floor. And before Ayomide comes up, we really want to appreciate Dr. Noye for her support. She has really been very supportive. And we also want to appreciate the mass communications department for supporting and giving us this platform to do this. I would say that you're in the best school, you're in the best department because they are really passionate about your growth. They are really focused about you having a very great and successful future. So thank you so much, Dr. Nuye. Thank you so much, the Mass Communications Department and the institution in general. We really appreciate you. So over to you, Ayomide.
All right. Hello, everyone. It's nice to have you at the PR Student Summit today. Like my colleague said, my name is Ayomide Oyetunde, and I am the Communications and Partnership Executive at the Nigerian Women in Public Relations. And so, what's Nigerian Women in Public Relations? Basically, we are a social impact professional organization, and we are set up to advocate for and provide growth resources to Nigerian women working in public relations and communications and living in Nigeria or the diaspora. And at Nigerian Women in Public Relations, our membership is open to every female professional from any career level, either entry level, to the highest level in management. Our membership is open to every female professional working in public relations and communications. And so, what are our major objectives at the Nigerian Women in Public Relations or the Nigerian Women in PR? Basically, our objectives is to be a resource hub for learning and professional growth for women working in communications and public relations. We are also set up to support the continuous relevance of Nigerian women, right? Working in public relations, and we have different initiatives that defines our objectives. We are also set up as a platform, we're also set up as an organization to platform the results of Nigerian women working in communications and public relations. And at the same time, we're set up to promote the understanding of public relations in Nigeria, Africa, and the world at large. And so we have, different initiatives, right? From the Experiencing PR Conference, which is a major initiative that we lead. We also have some initiatives like the Reverse Mentorship Workshop. We have the PR Woman of the Month. We have the C-Suite Acceleration Workshop. We have virtual training for our members. We have the Comms and Content Expo, which is basically like a job fair for, comms professionals. Comms graduates really to connect them to potential employers. We have the PR Student Summit, which is what we are currently doing today, and I'm excited to be able to have you all be part of today's program. To learn more about what we do at the Nigerian Women in PR, you can check out our website at ngwomaninpr.org and follow us across all our social media platforms on IG, Facebook, and X at ngwomaninpr. Right, and I'm sure you're going to have an amazing time listening to our speakers today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ayomide. So basically, if you need resources, you need career help, Nigerian Women in Public Relations is your go-to hub. So thank you so much. We'll be calling on Dr. Noye to address the students. I don't know, Dr. Noye, are you here and ready? I don't know if she was able to join in.
Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Can you hear me? Hello?
We can hear you, Ma.
Okay. Good afternoon. We are so sorry for what is happening. It has never happened before. I'm so sorry. As you can see from the background, you will see that many students they have been looking forward to this summit. I don't know what just went wrong, but I believe that before 20 minutes, everything will be okay. So I welcome you. I welcome you to today's summit. I thank the organizers for everything you have done. We are looking forward to having a fruitful deliberation today. So without wasting time, I just want to say you are welcome. And please don't feel bad about what is happening. Everything will be all right. Huh? So thank you. We will begin. And then I believe that before the day runs out, any students will join. Because if you check the background, if I can show you the background, you will see about 250 students waiting to join. They've been here since morning.
Mm.
So, but there are technical units, they are on top of the situation. Very soon, everything will be okay. So, thank you and welcome to today's summit.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma, and thank you so much for your support. Students, really apologize for the network issue. Thank you for coming to the summit. Really appreciate you. Hopefully, the issues will be resolved and we'll be able to have a seamless session. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Dr. Noye. We really appreciate you. We'll just get right started. I'll be introducing our first speaker, Oluwatosin Oladapo. She's a communications associate who brings a unique blend of business acumen and creative storytelling to the communications field. She has a bachelor's degree in business administration from the University of Lagos and a background in creative writing. She has shaped narratives for brand across the insurance, fintech, and impact initiative sector. She currently works at Mosron Communications, supports business in achieving their business objective through public relations and communications initiative that helps improve stakeholder engagement and increase brand visibility across platforms of national and pan-African acclaim. Before transitioning into public relations, she worked as a creative ghostwriter, helping would-be authors achieve their dreams of becoming published authors while developing strategic business proposals for forward-thinking businesses. This dual experience in creative and corporate writing allows her to create compelling narratives that resonate with diverse audience while achieving concrete business objectives. Oluwatosin is a passionate writer, storyteller, an avid reader, a lifelong learner, and an impact-driven person who loves to contribute to the growth of others as much as she loves to grow. Tosin, you're very welcome and you have the floor. You can go on. Thank you very much for agreeing to do this with us. Thank you so much for agreeing to impact the next generation of professionals. So you can go on, Tosin.
All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. So, first of all, thank you for coming, right? So, and it's been, I'm sure that in spite of, I'd like to encourage us that in spite of the many delays and the many things that have gone out of place, that you try to keep it straighted, I'm sure that there'll be a YouTube recording so you can follow the recording after the class, after the session to catch up on whatever aspect of the training that you missed. So I'll go right into my presentation and I'll be sharing right now. Please give me a minute. Let me just share my screen.
You know what? Came
Hello, can anyone hear me? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can hear you and we can see your screen, Tosin.
All right. So the aspect of today's topic that I've been given, or this summit that I've been speak about is student profession to professional, what I wish I knew as an undergraduate. And if you were listening while my bio was being read, you'd know that I don't have my first degree is not in mass communication, right? So I was just wondering, what exactly am I would I be sharing with students of mass communication when I don't even have a first degree to say, okay, this is what I wish I knew as an undergraduate. But then when Stella gave me the brief and she explained, and I was able to see that all right, there are things that were peculiar to the times when I was a student that is even more general that can be learned from. For instance, I'll just take you through my story, talk about my transition from being a student to now being a professional, and then cap it up with what I wish I had known when I was an undergraduate, right? So the first thing is that when I was an undergraduate, this was about 8 years ago. There were lesser remote and flexible opportunities. I remember being in school, and I attended the school like Unilag. Unilag being in Unilag means that many of the new opportunities targeted towards students came to schools like Unilag. And so there were lots of opportunities and all that. We have been having employability initiatives under the governor at the time. And then I tried to get jobs, but then a lot of them, or more like all of them, it was a case of, okay, because you're a student, we can't hire you. Remote flexible opportunities were not very common at the time. I remember at the time as well, my older sister was getting married and she was moving to another state and she wanted to quit her current job to take on a new one because there were no remote opportunities. But then the organization, because she was a valuable employee, the organization allowed her work remotely. So that was one of the first remote opportunities that we were hearing about. It wasn't as common as it is now. But then it is more common now. So it meaning that the flexibility and the remote opportunities that you have now, that is not limited by the fact that, oh, you're not a student because of the demands of your time, we can't give you a job. It means that you have more opportunities than there used to be. And so in the abundance of opportunities means that you have the time and you can take more opportunities. So how did I go from business administration to being in communications, right? So right after school, during service year, we had done employability initiatives and all that. So my mind was open. I took a course in Google from Google's Digital Garage, foundations of digital marketing. I took those courses and I still wanted to go into social media management, did a bit of learning, but then because I didn't have a portfolio, I couldn't really get the opportunities that I wanted. Then I was finishing NYSC during COVID. And as at the time when companies were letting go of their employees because, oh, we need to downsize, we can't do business so much. That was when I was finishing NYC. And you can imagine how much of a rude shock it is that at the time when everybody's downsizing, that's when you are trying to get a job. So it was an irony. But then it took me right from NYC, it took me about 7 months before I got my job. I got my first post school job. What did I do at that time? In between, I took courses in project management. I took courses in social media management. I volunteered to manage somebody's social media account that did not yield the necessary results because the person just ghosted me. Right. But then in between, I tried to pull all these skills together. That was how I transitioned. Then, not long after, I got this job at a management and human resource consulting firm. It was meant to be a 3-month internship, but then 3 months stretched to almost a year. And in the end, it was obvious that I needed to leave because what was promised was not what was being delivered. But then, like I would say, because I have a background, okay, in the time when I was waiting to get a job, I remember being really frustrated because, all these promises. I mean, finishing work now, there is something about finishing NYSC and finishing school. You're no longer getting stipends. You're no longer getting, oh, you're going to school, take this, use it to buy something on your way. All of that was not. Someone speaking.
Give me one. I don't know what is wrong with it. It's not saying anything.
All right. If you're not speaking, so there's something about finishing NYSC, you are no longer collecting allowance, you're no longer that all is like being thrown cold water that makes you feel like, okay, so where do I go from here? What am I supposed to do going forward, right? So in the middle of it, I remember reaching out to alumni from school, and then one of them, a lawyer who is no longer practicing law. She was telling me at the time that one of the reasons we feel like we are supposed to practice exactly what we studied in school is because that's the only thing we know. At other times, there are subtle skills that we have or natural inclinations that we have that we don't think too much of. That is actually one of the ways. And of course, because so when she said that, she actually has this ability to speak. She's a good public speaker. So she had already started training people, right? And so she was talking about that she was transitioning from law into being a corporate trainer. And that had me thinking, right? Also, when I was in school, okay, as at that time, when I was in school, I had a friend that was a writer. He was getting all sorts of gigs, but then I would write. When I was in school, I had a blog. I would write. He would review my work, just give feedback. It wasn't something I took seriously per se. It wasn't something I took seriously. It just felt like an expression. It was a hobby, but an expression of myself. Nothing too serious, nothing too professional. But then in the 6 months while I was waiting to get a job, I remember, sharing with him, and then he would give me one or two articles to write. I would write it, and he would ask me, who taught me how to write like this? I'm like, I don't know. I just figured it out. And it was, so those were some of the opportunities that started to draw my attention to the fact that I have a gift of writing, like not just in expressing myself, I have a gift of communications, but it was still raw in its raw state, right? So it would give me this article and I would write, I would get paid. And it was very funny to me because in my mind, they had paid me to do something that I really enjoyed. That's very, very funny. So, but then back to when I was working at this consultancy firm and things were stretching out, my friend started to give me more writing jobs. I started to get more freelance writing job by the side. I started to write TED Talks for people. I started to write SOPs for those who were leaving the country and needed to prove that they were a good candidate for the admissions board. I started to write all those little things. So by the time I was leaving the consulting firm, I already had a backlog of, not like a backlog, I had several requests. Oh, we need you to write this, we need you to write that, we have an article, we have this and that, right? So that kept me busy for like 2-3 months until I got my next role at a publishing firm, ghostwriting for a publishing firm. And I was at it until I started to think that, okay, I write. Okay, the thing with me is that I tend to try to think a step higher. Try to think a step higher. Okay, this is what I'm doing right now. What is the next phase of it? All right. So that was why when I was writing SOPs, I remember thinking SOPs, this is Japa season. When people stop rushing to leave the country, what will I be doing? So I kept thinking, okay, what's the next phase? That was why I applied for the job at the ghostwriting, at the publishing firm. A year, 2 into ghostwriting books. I just kept thinking, okay, AI is gaining ground already. You can easily put this into AI to generate your book. What is the next phase? Like, just thinking one step higher to say, what is the next thing that I should be doing? So at that time, I started thinking, okay, I started to see brand communications. I was seeing our content creation, Instagram influencers and all that. I was seeing brand communications and I kept thinking, okay, I did my bit of research. I saw that, okay, brand communication. So this is what they call brand communications, which is like an overlap of my degree in business administration and my skills as a writer. My role at the consulting firm also was one that required me to develop business proposals. So it means that I was always pitching, which is, so when I saw that brand communications, I love this. It's an overlap. It's an harmony between my natural skills of writing and my degree in business administration. So I took courses on LinkedIn. I developed sample scripts as my portfolio to pitch to organizations. And then not long after that, through LinkedIn, I got a job at a public relations firm as a content analyst. And then again, while at the public relations firm, simply writing content, developing content for proposals, writing the press releases, I just kept thinking again, AI is gaining ground. AI is gaining ground. In fact, I was using AI for a lot of what I was writing. So that does not make me indispensable. And if there's something I'm always trying to be, it's to be an indispensable addition to the organization. So I kept thinking, okay, what's the next phase again? What's the next phase of this? So what did I do? Because it was a public relations firm, and I don't have a background in mass communication. I reached out to my colleagues. I spoke with them. I don't have a background in mass communications. So I would like to understand end to end what is it that is being done. I read through the proposals. What is the mindset? What is the why behind these proposals that we're doing? Because when it comes to business, the why could be that the why for the organization I was working with was we're trying to get funding for this organization. We're trying to get funding, investment opportunities for these organizations. That was the why. So the proposal was directed. The proposals we wrote were directed towards that. And so I wanted to know these communications. What is the why? What is the why behind it? What are you trying to do? We see a lot of activities, media relations, stakeholder engagement, drafting proposals. But what is the why? What's the overarching why that we are trying to drive towards? Because when you understand the why, you understand what exactly needs to be done. And so, kind enough of my colleagues, they put me through, spoke to me. It was like a mini mentorship session, peer mentoring. They spoke to me, over and over. They answered all my questions. And then not long after, because I could sense that I needed to get into that end-to-end space, I did a code. I shot at a public relations firm, which is where I work right now. They were in hiring. I just sent a code email. I told them the things that I could do. And the next phase got an interview, and now I'm here. So that is how I transitioned from being a graduate of business administration to being a communications professional. However, in between, I would like you to know that I picked up several skills. The thing with business administration is the thing with communications, now, in life generally, but particularly for communications, you need to think of it like a pizza. It's a large slice, and everything you're doing is a slice in the entire circle, right? Like I said, in between leaving school and starting at my new role, I learned social media management, I learned email marketing, I took LinkedIn courses, took project management, several. I honed my writing skills. So there is an interconnectedness that comes that there's a way you need to approach life. You need to see it as in an interconnected manner. There is a large pizza, so to speak. There's a large circle, and whatever you're doing right now is a slice in a large pizza. For instance, outside of communications, if you were to be a tailor, for instance, you sew. One of the things you should be doing, one of the things you need to realize is that sewing is a slice of the entire pizza. You can go higher and begin to do ready to wear. You can go higher to begin to have a fashion house, do fashion shows. So that is what you need to do. You need to realize for every single thing, you need to recognize the interconnectedness of what you are doing right now to a larger scope, such that you're always trying to rise a level higher. Try to rise a level higher. People talk a lot about how AI is taking over. AI is going to make humans is going to cause unemployment rate. It's going to increase the unemployment rate. Everybody talks about the effect of AI. But then if you're always thinking about the interconnectedness of your skills to a larger circle, and you try to rise to a higher level, there will always be skills that you can transition. You can transfer from one role to the other, even if they are not related. There's always a skill you can transfer to the other role. So in that light, I would like you to know, so the entire objective of my session is not just to tell you my story and say, oh, nice, oh. Rather, I'm trying to, the entire objective, the focus I'm driving towards is that you start now as an undergraduate. That is why the underlying theme of my presentation is what I wish I knew as an undergraduate. Because, like I said, the opportunities were not as rampant or as commonplace as it is now. But now that it's commonplace, it's not enough opportunities to be commonplace. You need to start now by taking advantage of the opportunities, right? So why do you need to start now? One of the first reasons you need to start now is that there is a time advantage. There is a time advantage. See, if somebody were to start drumming from when they were 4 years old, compared to a person that started to learn how to drum when they were 13, there would likely be, there's a difference. There's a difference. If they were to meet at 20, the 13-year-old has only been drumming for 7 years. The 4-year-old would have been drumming for 16 years. There's a time advantage to build on your skills. There's a time advantage to build on your skills. So number one reason you should start now is for the time advantage. You are able to build. You have longer time to build, and then you can take risk while the stakes are low, right? Now that you're in school, you need to start looking out for opportunities. You need to start looking out for opportunities to say, okay, I'm in school now. Is there a friend who is starting a business, maybe person selling earrings or something, and they want to reach more contacts on, because, okay, for schools like Unilag, there are brands that are synonymous to Unilag now that started as students. For instance, Koede Spark. If anybody, one of you, have a knowledge of you, Koede Spark is a brand that started, the person started as an undergraduate and has built a brand that is now synonymous to Unilag. Right? So your friend, your roommate, your classmate now might be building a brand that will soon be synonymous with Chukwuemeka Odumegwu University in the next 5-6 years. But then you can grow together. You can make the mistakes while the stakes are low. You can help the person start managing their social media and, helping them with all those courses that you're learning, because it's not enough to learn. All those learnings you have, you can start applying them while the risks are low. Take, for instance, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, Yuda Bassi, everybody loves everybody loves Yuda. Yuda Bassi's food brand was trending online, and it was because one of our customers bought pepper soup, 6,000 naira pepper soup, and pepper soup was really small. Right, it was really small. It was the place was small in itself. The soup was small. The turkey was chopped. Everything was just, and the person was really so exhausted by the time she was making the video and all that. Now the point is that when she made the video, Udabasi reached out to her, gave her a 50K voucher to get whatever she wants to get at the office. Now you know that if Udabasi or whoever is managing that brand did not take risk while the stakes were low. Now that, imagine taking risk now that the stakes are high. Imagine taking risk now that the stakes are high to say, okay, maybe they responded to her in a not so pleasant manner. So it means that now, if you start now as an undergraduate to begin to build the skill, you will learn how to engage with customers online, which will be a useful tool throughout your career as a public relations professional, and even overall, because like I said, the common trend now is that AI is taking over jobs, or there are new skills with the advancement of technology requires that you have new digital skills. So, but if you don't take the risk now that the stakes are low, you will mess up on a larger scale, like Udabasi. Udabasi didn't mess up. I mean, on a larger scale, when you are better known, or you're more renowned, and then by that time the stakes are really high. The stakes are really high. Take for instance, Temu brand as well. If the marketing and comms manager for Temu were to make a market research into the Nigerian market before they tried to penetrate the Nigerian market, one of the things they would have learned was that with the Nigerian market, there's something called what I ordered versus what I got, which is what people are always trying to. There's that distrust when it comes to online purchases. And if you look at Temu, out of 10 reviews, only one person would likely get. I mean, so far I've gotten what they ordered. All the other 9, they were not getting. They didn't get it. It's either too small, the quality is bad, and everything. So it goes to show that if you don't begin to take the risk now to learn how to manage social media, learn how to build those skills on a larger scale, by the time you get a job like Udabasi, you're handling brands like Temu, then the risks are higher. And now the risks are higher, you're representing an organization. So if your actions will not affect just you, it will affect a bigger brand. And imagine if you are handling a brand like Udabasi that has gone ahead to invest time to get a Guinness World Record. Look at the impact compared to. You need to take risk while the stakes are low. You need to start building those skills now. Because you have the time advantage. Right? And then, like I said, right after NYSC, if you for a lot of people, or the general consensus is that now you are, Alawi is no longer coming, your parents are not sending you allowance anymore. So it means that you need to hit the ground running right after NYC, or even during NYC. You need to hit the ground running. So how would you do that when you have not even built the skills now to hit the ground running by that time? The next reason why you need to start now is that it allows you to explore your interest and build transferable skills. Like I said, I didn't just arrive in public relations. It started with writing. I was simply writing articles, writing speeches, and then gradually from there, by taking new opportunities, I realized, oh, I picked up design somewhere along the line. Like that. It allows you, by starting early, you can explore your interest. You can explore your interest in content creation. You can explore your interest in video editing. You can explore your interest in writing. You can hone that skill because now now the stakes are low and you can easily make those mistakes now. Not that you go and misrepresent a brand. So you can explore your interest, you can build transferable skills that will go from one, the same skills I used while writing proposals, the same skill I used while writing SOPs because I was pitching the students to the admissions committee. The same skill I use now when I'm writing communications proposal. You are able to transfer the skills. Another reason why you should start now is that it allows you to build your portfolio. It allows you to build your portfolio. Your portfolio is the proof of concept that, oh, this person can actually do this. This is the proof. It's like learning tailoring. And then you can show them, okay, this is somebody I made outfits for. Proof of concept. That's the purpose behind portfolio. So, but then that's one of the things when you're being hired, when you have your first interview for the role you are looking out for, they will ask you, okay, have you ever done this before? Have you ever done this before? If you say no, if there are 4 candidates being considered for the role, and for one role, by the way, and 3 out of you say no, or 2 out of you say no, the other 2 that said yes and can show 1 or 2 things that they did, they are the ones that will be considered because they have proof of concept. Imagine let this be a rhetorical question. Would you rather give your outfit to a tailor that says, I can do it? Show me the clothes that you saw before. I can do it now. I can do it. Just give me your clothes. You would not give your outfit to that kind of tailor. But if a tailor has shown you, see the style, I saw this for somebody, I saw this for somebody. There's a trust that is that comes to you and you're able to give the person your outfit, which is the same thing. When you build your portfolio, you have proof of concept, you can build transferable skills. And then, if there's something I've learned when it comes to PR is that your network is your net worth. That statement is true. It's true across board, but it has never been true when it comes to PR. Your network is your net worth. The media contacts you have, they help you with your business development. They can easily reach out to you. I remember the last PR company I was working with, and that was when Ojukwu last year. And then the content, the entire focus was on one man, Farouk Oreagba. Everybody was like, steez, composure. Everybody was loud about it. And then, would you believe that within hours, by the next day, everybody was trying to get Farouk Oreagba's contact because they wanted him to be a brand ambassador. Do you know what my MD did? She was like, I know Farouk now. We drink, and she just called one person. Said, I don't have his contact anymore. She called one person. The person sent her the contact of Farouk. And the next thing we heard her laughing in the office and say, oh, we should get a drink. Oh, not too long after this. And the next thing, she was able to get that deal. So it goes to show that, see, those you'll be working together, the media contacts, because not everybody here would directly be going into business, into public relations. Some will be going into journalism, some will be going into newscasting, for instance. There'll be times when you need to pitch a story to a media house. You need a contact in Business Day. It's your classmate that is working with Business Day or is working with Punch that you can say, oh, let me call up Chukwuemeka because I know he works with Business Day and we'll be able to get our news on the newspaper tomorrow. But if you don't start now with your career, then by that time you would have lost contact with a lot of them, and it's going to take a while before you even achieve the results. It's going to take a lot of research before you achieve the results. All right, so what should you be doing now that you're a student, whether you're in 300 level, whether you're in 400 level? What should you be doing now? Number one is to study your natural inclinations. For a lot of us, we have natural inclinations. For me, it was writing. I could write. For some, it's public speaking. You know how to speak. You know how to write. You enjoy preserving memories through video. Study, pay attention to your natural inclinations and begin to build on it. When I was in school, the friends that I had, the friends that started to give me the content writing job, we were already friends when I was in school. But then, because I didn't necessarily think my natural inclination was commercially viable, I didn't try to build on it, right? I didn't try to build on it. So imagine if I started building on it. There are people who are already building on it. I don't know if you know this person, but IB Quake is quite popular. And she just convocated from Unilag this year. But the IB Quake has been popular for like 2 to 3 years. So it shows that when she was in 200 or 300 level, she was already building that portfolio. She already knew that, okay, I have a gift with words. I know how to speak. I can memorize this thing. I can communicate in ways that will reach people's hearts. So recognize your natural inclinations and begin to think about the commercial viability of those skills. Number one, you can start with blogging. You can start with blogging or newspaper publications. If your university has a newspaper publication, even if it's annually, maybe during convocation, that is when volunteer to be the one to write the press release, volunteer to be the one to write press release for school events, for volunteer to be the one to write those things, because that is exactly what you'll be doing when you become a PR professional. So start now, not that when in 2 years, when you now write the press release, your team lead will not look at it and say, and you say you graduated in mass communications, how come you can't write a simple press release? So start writing now, start blogging. That is how you build your portfolio, actually. So start writing now, start writing press release, start blogging. For your friends, start helping them create content, even if your friend is not doing business. If there's a restaurant in the office, maybe in your school, that is quite popular and they don't even have a social media presence, pitch yourself to them. Let me manage your social media for you. I will come and shoot content. I will get people to know you more. SEO stands for search engine optimization, and it's very key because it's not enough to be able to write. People need to see what you are writing or what you're putting online, and that's what SEO does for you. You know, SEO articles, or maybe it's placing keywords on a website so that the website ranks higher. Either way, learn SEO basics, such that if you're in a meeting and a client comes to you and they're like, the brief is that we want our organization to be searchable. You don't want to sit down there and everybody and they say, okay, Matilda, what do you think we should do? And they because you are not sure. So now learn SEO basics. Learn how to create social media content, video editing, small graphic design. Learn how to do them. Now, the bits and pieces. You can even volunteer maybe at your fellowship or student unions, anyone. Look for opportunities to volunteer, to give back, so that you can have practice for these skills, because you will need it. You will need it over the course of your career. All right. Something else you can do is social media analytics. Learn how to use Google Workspace and Microsoft Office. This reminds me of right after school, I was applying for a job with a top international organization. And then, like I said, platforms like Google Docs and all that, Google Workspace was just starting to take over for Microsoft Office. So they were just like, okay, apply. And then when I saw it, I was like, I really love this opportunity. You know, I wrote, it required a lot of writing. So I wrote, did everything, put it on Google Documents. Then I shared. And then I didn't hear from them. I just kept thinking, maybe they had a lot of applicants. It took me, I was working on Google Documents to realize that I did not share access to that document. So all the work that I did was just in vain because I did not share access to the document. So each time I want to share access to a Google document, sometimes I just laugh because I'm like, imagine, I would have gotten an opportunity if I had known how to work my way around Google Docs, because I really fit for that opportunity. So those are some of the things you need to learn now. Learn how to use Google Workspace, learn how to use Microsoft Office, learn to find your way around these workspaces. Learn basic video editing, digital marketing foundations, courses, Google Data Garage, even if it's remote, even if it's just a week, if it's just 3 months course, take on LinkedIn, take on Coursera, like that. Learn these skills, because the knowledge will come in handy when you are working. Then for your networking and professional development, there are different professional organizations If that you can even join as a student. I know that NIPR has a student chapter that you can be a part of. You can go to conferences. There was a Lagos Digital PR Summit last year. Students of students, current students, 300, 400 level were at the event. They got to learn about upcoming trends in public relations, right? So join ISET, join JCI. If your department or your faculty is having a workshop, join, network, learn to speak, learn to pitch yourself, public speaking, presentation skills, learn to push those things because they will come in handy for you when you need to work, when you finally get to the workplace. Something else you can do is to build a portfolio, like I said, right? I remember when I was freelancing, like I said, I did not know the commercial viability of my writing skills. That's number one. Then number two is because it came easy for me. I didn't think of it. When it was now time for me to pitch myself to organizations and say, okay, I can do XYZ, I started to look for my portfolio all over the internet. Because I had ghostwritten them, so my name was not even on. I didn't get the job directly, it was freelance. So I had to start looking all over. This article that I wrote, where is it on the internet? I had to go and look for the websites that publish those articles to say, this is my article, this is my article, this is my article. So rather than give yourself all that stress, build your portfolio now. Build your portfolio now. You can check platforms like Clippings for writers. You can, if for those who are building their writing skills, like another way of building your portfolio is also blogging, right? All these things begin to build your portfolio. When you write a press release, or when you write or you get anything written, or you have a video editing, don't just leave it there. Collate everything into a document such that when you are asked, okay, where is your portfolio? Where's the proof that you can do this thing? You don't have to look for it. You won't have to look for it. You can easily share your portfolio. Because if somebody says, okay, Tosin, share your portfolio with me, and person is now waiting 4 hours to get your portfolio, it shows that you're not serious. You're supposed to get the portfolio. It's the same thing like you want to order for a meal online. And then and you're not asking the person, how much is your chicken and turkey? The person now took 4 hours to get back to you. By that time, you are no longer hungry, sir. You get. So it's the same thing. So you are selling yourself. Get your price and your proof of concept ready. Then number two is have an active LinkedIn profile. I remember when I was in school and I knew all this LinkedIn, everything, like I said. But I had a friend that attended a private university and she didn't even know about LinkedIn. I was the one that was not telling her, okay, I do this. Like, so it shows that now, as an undergraduate, have an active LinkedIn profile. If you were to cover an event or you did video editing if you were to cover an event, you were to do video editing for a brand you worked with in school, or maybe for a student event, put it on LinkedIn. Let people see that you can do this. Let people see that you can do this. And just so you know, don't wait until it's perfect. Don't wait until you can do video editing like Miss Techie before you start putting yourself online. No. If you look at, I don't know if you know these creators online, Blessing, Abeng, Salem King, all of them. They will show you their videos from 3, 4, 6 years ago. Actually, 3, 4, 6 years ago when they started. The video editing was not as good as it is now. Some of them started with a poor camera, but they just kept doing it. They kept doing it, which is how you earn your skills. I don't know why I keep going back to the examples of a tailor, but a tailor that does not learn how to sew skirts will not learn how to sew wedding gown. So you have to start, sew the skirt, learn to tag buttons, show people that you can do this skirt and blouse gradually. And then on the day when you now have to build, on the days when you now have to, sorry, please give me a minute.
All right. I hope you are taking notes. And please, it's very important that you take notes. As far as starting now, is after this training, what are you doing next? Are you on LinkedIn? Are you opening an account on LinkedIn? If you like writing, are you starting out? If you do not have digital skills, are you going to learn? Are you going to pitch yourself to start documenting your work? Please, it is important you listen. Also take notes and act on it. I believe we're learning a lot from our speaker to sing. Yeah, she's back. So take notes and make sure that you do the needful. It's fine. You can go on to say.
Apologies for the interruption. Thank you very much. So I was saying that actively the profile volunteer for event planning. If your department is having an event, volunteer, create content, organize campus event, because part of what public relations does is that you need to learn event management. And part of a very important part of of event management is vendor management. Vendors can choke. So, but when you have learned how to manage one or two vendors for your campus event, you'll be able to put that same experience and leverage that same experience and even have that same contact, right? Someone was sharing how that at the last minute, a vendor canceled on them for an event, and then she had to just, have a contact. Okay, can you please deliver at the last minute? What snacks? But if you imagine if the person did not have any experience, at that point, the person will be stuck because they wouldn't even know what to do. Then, take online courses, project management basics, because what you'll be doing is end to end. Sometimes you might be starting as a content analyst like I did, and sometimes you'll be starting as a junior communications associate. So end to end management of entire projects. Build your public speaking and presentation skills. These are some of the things you can do now. And then, as I round up, I'd like to mention somebody from my media unit in church. Her name is Ayomide Elizabeth Wensu. And for my media unit, she's the virtual assistant. Some of the skills that she has amassed: virtual assistant, executive assistant, social media manager. She edits her video for social media. She manages her social media. She edits her pictures. She has basic graphic design skills. She can do everything. She's very indispensable to her unit. However, something else I need to mention is that she's also a 300 level computer science student at the University of Ibadan. And she has already amassed all these skills. She's still in 300 level. So the length and breadth of what I want to say is that, number one, you can amass. Start now. Don't wait until all is perfect. Don't wait until you have it all figured out. Start now. Figure it out along the way. You will always be a work in progress. As you always have to think a step higher. Okay, AI can do this thing. What is the next thing I can do? What is the next thing I can do? What is the next thing I can do? You always be a work in progress. You always have to figure it out as you go. But if you don't start, there is nothing to figure out. And you arrive on the at the workspace, or you arrive in the labor market inexperienced with nothing to figure out. So please, you always be a work in progress. You can figure it out as you go, but then you need to start now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Please, let's give a round of applause to Tosin. If you're online, you can just use your emoji to clap for her. If you're in the hall, you can also give her a round of applause. Thank you so much, Tosin, for sharing. And I will say that this stood out for me because she did just tell you to start now. She actually shared practicable steps for you to act now. Like, volunteer. If you have a friend that's doing a small business, help the friend to set up a social media page. If you have passion for writing, start writing. And I will tell you for free, I know someone that was in 200 level and she was doing freelance writing and she was earning a monthly salary right from school. So like Tosin said, that the thing is that when you start early, you have room for mistakes. You can make mistake. From your mistake you will learn and grow. But when you are in the workforce, there's really no opportunity for errors. So you have to come in with your A game. And when you're doing an interview, they're asking you, can you manage a social media account? Can you write a press release? You studied mass communication. Can you write a blog post? Can you write on this article? When you ask these questions, is your answer going to be yes or no? When you ask, can you work with a Google Space? Is your answer going to be yes or no? Can you post a post on the social media? What is your answer going to be like? Because one of our objective is to lead you in the right path. And we are telling you, do not wait until you graduate for you to start your career. as you're in school, there are endless opportunities right now. You can start freelancing, you can volunteer, you can intern remotely. So we are not just telling you these things. This is what is actually working. Tosin will tell you that she works remotely, fully remotely. She doesn't go to the office. She works from her house. I also work remotely. I work from my house, and I will tell you for free that you can build your skills. If you see organizations, I believe by now you're in school, you already know public relations, media houses that you would love to work with. Why don't you make a list of the top 10? Then reach out to them that you like to intern with them. So start now. Just say you start in 200 level before you even graduate. You already have a portfolio of successful work done. You have a track record of work done. Do you think that someone that is just graduating, that just graduated, both of you are going for an interview, you have an edge over the person because what? You started really early and you've built your competence over time. So we are saying start now. If you are not on LinkedIn, after this call, go and open a LinkedIn account, share your story, the difficulty, reach out to professionals that you admire. Thank you so much, Tosin. And please, if you have any question for Tosin, you can raise up your hand or you can put it on the chat board. Do we have any questions for Tosin? I've also shared the feedback form. You can share your feedback with Tosin, what you loved about our section, if there's room for improvement and all of that. Please, let's ask our questions. We are communications people, and it is important that we speak confidently and ask our questions. Don't tell me that from all what Tosin have shared, you don't have any question. If you have any questions, please share in the chat box or raise your hand and I'll call you to ask your question. We don't have any questions. Are there no questions? Or we want to ask the questions after the second speaker. Because of our time, we'll just get right to it. But if you have questions, please share on the chat board and we will attend to it. Thank you so much. Naomi and Jeremiah is our next speaker. Okay. Before I call on, someone is asking, Ms. Tosin, please, how can I grow my page? I believe social media page. So the person is saying, how can I grow my followers on social media? Tosin.
All right. So how do you grow your followers on social media? Number one is you need to understand your target audience. Who are the people you are trying to reach? It depends on the industry. It depends on who you are trying to reach. If, for instance, you're a business brand and you're trying to reach teenagers or Gen Zs, then you need to understand, okay, what are the that's one of the things that you do as a PR professional. It means you do all stakeholder mapping, audience profile, right? So you understand, okay, these are the kind of people who will be trying to buy from me. They are the audience I'm trying to reach. These are their characteristics. Maybe they use more of LinkedIn. For instance, if you're a clothes brand and you are on LinkedIn, that's not necessary. If you're a clothes brand targeted at outfits for teenagers and you're on LinkedIn, then it means that LinkedIn is not necessarily the place where your target audience is. Instagram is more likely the place where you're targeted, and TikTok as well, right? So how do you reach those people? So when you understand how to reach them, which is where your research comes. How do you reach this your stakeholders? How do you reach this your audience? When you understand how to reach them, draft content related to that, and then you'll be able to reach them. So that is, and then of course, growth is growth should be organic and it is gradual. It's not something you download and then you go from 1K followers to 3,000 or 5,000 in 2 weeks, right? But it's gradual. It's gradual. So it also informs, understanding your audience also informs the kind of design you do. Will your design be happy? Will it be something calm or demure, right? So those are some of the things. When you understand your audience and who you're trying to reach, it informs everything else because everything revolves around them. That's how you build your social media page.
All right, thank you so much, Tosin. Yes, for you to grow your page, create relatable content that people can come to your page, relate to. And over time, you see somebody telling somebody that, this page is really nice. So know your target audience, know the content you want to put out, incorporate storytelling. storytelling is also very important, and create relatable content that everyone can relate to, because that next person will tell the next person to tell the next person, and before you know it, your page is having more than the numbers you even envisage. So thank you so much. Okay, I'm saying, what did you gain from Tosin's presentation? What did you learn from Tosin's presentation?
Yes, this is Naomi.
Please, Naomi,
From
go
the
on.
time, okay, from the time I was able to join the meeting, what I understood from what she said was speaking on how everything that we are doing in our university, we should work like one by one, just apply it to our lifestyle, every course, because you can never know where you will be tomorrow. Being mass communicators, we should like perfect our skill in writing, broadcasting. We can become ghostwriters. We can do. It does not matter whatsoever event that will happen in our school. We can write about it and perfect our skill, because being being in this country, you can never tell where you will be tomorrow. So that was what I was able to understand.
All right, so much for sharing that. And you're very correct. Yes, that was one of the very important lessons for us to learn. Have an open mind and just start doing the work. Please, if we'll not fill the feedback form, please let's fill the feedback form so we can share our feedback with our speaker, Tosin. I've shared it on the group and on the chat box. We'll be sharing the slides with you. If you have any questions, you can ask on the group. We're really so please enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much. Dr. Noye, thank you so much.